Hey, Raiden, could you... never mind. Let's just start the video. Many articles surrounding the 2019 game Death Stranding focused on things like story and its unique gameplay. For so long, the only points of reference we had for this game were the batshit crazy trailers and previous Kojima projects like the Metal Gear series. When the game dropped, however, it seemed crazier than people could imagine, and people were scrambling to write articles about some of the crazier aspects of the game, which included, but were not limited to, creating weapons using your own human waste and blood. This did not surprise me, however, because long ago on my 5-month deep dive through the Metal Gear series, I came to a startling conclusion pretty fast. And that conclusion was that Kojima liked to talk about pee. Seriously, why was I forced to watch people piss themselves so many times? Not even privately, which, okay, that might have been a little weirder if you were like going to the bathroom and watching everybody pee all the time. But like in front of other characters, to the shame and embarrassment of the character peeing, which is, we don't have time to unpack all that. But I noticed this trend around Metal Gear Solid 3, but it actually starts in Metal Gear Solid 1. I was just too foolish to know that this was going to be a continuing theme at that time. Poor naive me. So let's dive right in. No, hate that joke. We're gonna start our journey in Metal Gear Solid 1 when we find Otacon hiding from Cyborg Ninja. He just pisses in front of you. I guess it was also important in low poly to kind of like zoom in on it too, because it's low poly and everybody looks like this. I also imagined at the time, when I was naive and unaware of this trend that was going to continue to haunt me, that the player was forced to watch this to add a sense of grittiness or realness to the situation. Because let's be honest, the player is probably more of a Hal than a Dave, and as you've been playing up to this point, you've probably been tricked into thinking you're cool for 2 seconds. That is until you see this weeb piss himself at the first sign of real danger, and you're forced to see your own reflection in the glass of your television aligned over his speckled face. You could laugh, but tell me, would you not piss yourself too? Like I said, I thought this was innocuous enough. That is until I kept playing, till I kept going deeper down this rabbit hole. Also, upon further investigation, I found the video where you can acquire the pee box to sneak past the wolves, and you have a bunch of dogs pee on this box, and then you get under it and sneak past the wolves. I hate that it's called the pee box. I don't actually know what it's called in the game, but like when I was looking for it, it was referred to in the video guides as the pee box, so people know. There is a character introduced in this game that is a reoccurring character as far as I remember. It's been a while. And he is named Johnny, and he has a different bathroom problem in that he gets diarrhea every time there's like an interaction with a cute girl. So put a pin in this because it's gonna come back to haunt us. Metal Gear Solid 2. This one almost feels like cheating because it's actually Hal's little sister who pees. I hate this scene for so many reasons, but I think I hated it the most because it was here that I was starting to sense a trend. Also, the peeing guard, Raiden gets peed on. Raiden goes to the bathroom at one point. There's like an Easter egg where you can like go to the bathroom as Raiden. I will say that Metal Gear Solid 2 has one of my favorite achievement trophies, which is Snake Beater, that you get for being caught masturbating by Otacon. He's like, really, Snake? Right now? There's also a funny exchange in the locker where Otacon makes reference to when you find Otacon cowering in a locker in Metal Gear Solid 1, and Otacon's like, oh, how the turntables, to which Dave is like, it would only be the turntables if I pissed myself. Bang! Metal Gear Solid 3. This is probably the most coherent of the Metal Gears, in so much as that it's basically like a Bond movie and it follows a very simple, coherent story structure. We're not gonna look at the special unit. But even this one, which I honestly will say is probably my favorite Metal Gear, although Dave is my favorite Snake, fight me, could not escape the curse of urine. So Sokolov pees himself while being forced to participate in a game of Russian roulette by Revolver Ocelot. This scene is not playable on this video because I don't want this video to get locked for mature content, but you can find it. I will show you this like couple screen grabs of it so you know the scene I'm talking about, but Ocelot puts like one bullet into the chamber of a revolver and then spins it, but then that's not extra enough, so then he has 3 revolvers and he's like juggling them and off. Something landed in my eye. And Sokolov pees himself, and we are forced to consume the scene of hot pee steam rising from the puddle below. Didn't need that. Also, Naked Snake pees himself while getting brutally beaten by Volgin. I feel like I want to say here that, like before in Metal Gear Solid 1, urine is used as a way to ground the scenes in the violent reality of what's happening and lacks the general humor of a lot of the pee jokes from Metal Gear Solid 2. However, it is curious to me that this seems to be his go-to since Metal Gear Solid 1. It's like he thought we were all desensitized to blood, so he was just gonna keep using pee until we were desensitized to that too. I hate that. I hate that sentence. I typed it and I hate it, but it's all I got. Metal Gear Solid 4. Sorry, something came off my gloves and into my eyelashes. Metal Gear Solid 4. Johnny the diarrhea guy is back. Remember that guy I told you to put a pin in the beginning who has diarrhea every time he talks to a cute girl? Well, he's back. He fucking marries Meryl, and I'm still mad about it. It's been a long time. It's been like a year since I went through this series, and I'm still mad about it. Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm skipping Peace Walker because we'll get to that later. Okay, so me and my friend argued over whether or not this scene is piss, but I'm pretty sure that in the escape scene in the beginning, Big Boss pisses himself, the real Big Boss, not Venom Snake. And she thinks it's more like an IV bag that broke. Some people have suggested to me that it's probably sprinkler water, but it is weird because they like zoom in on his crotch and like the trickling sound, and it is definitely a situation in which you were piss yourself because they're pretending to be dead so that the guards don't shoot them, and the guards are going through and shooting all the dead bodies just to make sure that they're dead. And it is Kojima, so I'm inclined to believe that it's piss. Also, Huey Emmerich pees. He pisses himself when Zero pushes him down the stairs. I can't remember if this is in 5 or in the DLC, which is the prequel to 5. But he definitely pisses himself. What is it with Emmerichs pissing themselves? And they zoom in on it. I hate Huey for many reasons, but this is just adding to my reasons to hate Huey. Now for a bonus segment I call Is It Pee? Was There Pee? Here are some pees that I cannot confirm. Well, I probably could if I went on like a crazy venture into replaying all of these games and rewatching playthroughs and scanning through every single shot for pee, but I'm not gonna do that for a video I'm not getting paid for. Crying Beauty from Metal Gear Solid 4, there's some debate as to whether or not she pisses herself, there's actually like a talk about this in like a Metal Gear Reddit. There's actually a whole discussion about this in a Metal Gear related Reddit I was going through. while I was doing my deep dive. But it was undecided overall whether or not she peed herself. I also couldn't remember if someone peed in Peace Walker. Peace Walker is a weird game for a lot of reasons, partially because a lot of Peace Walker is so integral to the plot of Metal Gear Solid 5, but Peace Walker was a PSP exclusive, which is odd to me because I know a lot of people who didn't have a PSP, and also because Kaz's character and relationship to Big Boss like really is introduced in Peace Walker. Up until that point, you hadn't really seen his like developing relationship with Big Boss, which is kind of important at the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm not sure that it makes Metal Gear Solid 5 more coherent and less batshit crazy, but it's definitely there. Like, I feel like pause is important. Pause is super important. Like, I get that Venom Snake technically has PTSD over what happened in the DLC prologue thing, but she's introduced as a character in Peace Walker. So, I don't know if there's pee, but there are dates you can go on where you have relations under a box. Finally, there's a lot of incidental and debated urine and other things in the series outside of what I've mentioned, but as I said before, that is a rabbit hole that I will not go down any further, because that way lies madness, young Padawan. And I already feel a bit mad after this. Let's close this baby up, because I am so tired. While the urine did have its uses in storytelling, as I said before, adding that gritty realness to some scenes in the game, it becomes apparent from both its humorous uses and its continual uses in the game that there's something else going on here. There's only so many times you can make me watch someone pee before I assume it's a thing for you. And with the release of Death Stranding and its use of piss guns and poo grenades, I am forced to examine this as more than a writing tool. This is a personal interest. This is a theme that holds Kojima's works together. PT excluded, but if that Silent Hills game was released, there definitely would have been piss in it. The entire Kojima universe is held together by this thread, this strand, if you will. It connects his works. It forms a bridge between them. His entire universe is built on piss. Anyway, it's safe to say, after the release of Death Stranding, that this is a clear thematic element of Kojima's work, and what started as a trickle will surely flow into a steady stream of piss content. I predict that we have not even yet begun to breach the depths of this pool, and I live in fear of what rivers of content he will drench us with next. I hate that. Anyway, between this entire video and all the product I've put in my hair to try and slick it back, I think I'm gonna go take a shower now. And with that in mind, you're pretty good. Now